When I stumbled upon this thought-provoking discussion initiated by Josh Jones, a talented writer and musician hailing from Durham, North Carolina, on filmsforaction.org, it triggered a cascade of contemplation within me. I couldn't help but wonder how many individuals out there resonate with this perspective on work, and the activities we engage in to sustain ourselves, such as putting food on the table and having a roof over our heads. From the very moment we enter this world, we are thrust into the educational system, where we spend a significant portion of our lives. However, it often feels as though we are not truly taught about how the world truly operates. Instead, we are simply told what path to take, why we should follow it, and how we can fit into society to become a productive member. This system dictates that we must strive for a degree or diploma, dedicating countless hours of our lives, in order to qualify for employment and subsequently earn the right to live. Yet, there are alternative paths, ones that may be more enticing and appealing to us, but they too demand our time and effort. It brings to mind a video I once watched from the School of Life, which shed light on the fact that regardless of how little sleep we may have had or the personal challenges we may be facing, we are expected to show up for work on time, without any excuses. This expectation, although seemingly unnatural and abnormal, is something we are forced to accept. The truth is, the current societal structure places an immense emphasis on work and productivity, often overshadowing other aspects of life that are equally important, such as personal well-being, relationships, and self-discovery. We find ourselves caught in a cycle where the pursuit of success and financial stability becomes the sole purpose of our existence. However, it is crucial to remember that we have the power to redefine the meaning of work and our relationship with it. Rather than viewing work solely as a means to an end, we can strive to find fulfillment and purpose in our chosen endeavors. We can seek balance and prioritize our well-being, recognizing that true productivity stems from a healthy mind, body, and spirit. It is time to challenge the notion that work should consume the majority of our lives. We should dare to question the status quo and explore alternative ways of living and contributing to society. This may involve pursuing unconventional career paths, embracing entrepreneurship, or even reimagining the very concept of work itself. Ultimately, the journey towards finding harmony between work and life is a deeply personal one. It requires introspection, courage, and a willingness to step outside of societal expectations. By doing so, we can create a world where work is not merely a means of survival, but a source of inspiration, growth, and genuine fulfillment. So let us embark on this journey together, redefining the purpose of work and embracing a life that is truly worth living. Mental illness is indeed on the rise, and depression is a prime example of this alarming trend. With over 15 million adults in America alone affected by this debilitating condition, it begs the question, is the current human experience contributing to this increase? In our fast-paced and demanding society, it is no wonder that more and more people are feeling miserable and disconnected. We spend our lives chasing after survival, constantly striving to meet our basic needs and fulfill our responsibilities. But in this relentless pursuit, we often neglect the deepest desires of our hearts. We have become trapped in a cycle of busyness, where our wants and desires beyond the material world are pushed aside. We prioritize external achievements and material possessions, believing that they will bring us happiness and fulfillment. But deep down, we know that true happiness lies in following our passions and nurturing our inner selves. The modern world bombards us with distractions and obligations, leaving little time for self-reflection and introspection. We are constantly connected, always plugged into the digital realm, but rarely do we take the time to connect with our own souls. We have become disconnected from our own wants and desires, numbing ourselves with mindless consumption and superficial pleasures. But what if we were to pause for a moment and ask ourselves, what do we truly want? What brings us joy and fulfillment? What are the dreams and aspirations that lie dormant within us? By giving ourselves the time and space to explore these questions, we can begin to break free from the chains of societal expectations and rediscover our true selves. It is crucial that we prioritize our mental and emotional well-being. Taking care of ourselves should not be seen as a luxury, but as a necessity. Just as we make time for physical exercise and nourishing our bodies, we must also make time for activities that nourish our souls. Whether it is pursuing a hobby, spending time in nature, or engaging in creative endeavors, these moments of self-care are essential for our overall well-being. Moreover, we must cultivate a culture of empathy and understanding. Mental illness should not be stigmatized or dismissed. Instead, we should create a safe and supportive environment where individuals can openly express their struggles and seek help without fear of judgment. By fostering a sense of community and compassion, we can help alleviate the burden of mental illness and promote healing and growth. Josh's first paragraph raises a thought-provoking question about the nature of work and the distribution of wealth. He asks why the majority of people must work long hours just to earn a basic living, while only the wealthy have access to leisure, aesthetic pleasure, and self-actualization. This question has been pondered by many, each offering their own answers based on their political or theological beliefs. One concept that Josh highlights is the idea of trickle-down economics, also known as reaganomics, which has been around for centuries. The notion that we must work hard to increase the wealth and property of the already wealthy can be traced back to the 18th century doctrine of improvement. This doctrine was used to justify the privatization of common land and the displacement of the peasantry, forcing them into labor for the benefit of the wealthy. What resonates with me in this excerpt is the realization that we are all essentially working for a small group of elite individuals who, through the corporations they control, exert significant influence over various aspects of our lives. Their vision of globalization or a new world order requires our participation and consent. It is a system in which the majority of us have become economic slaves, dependent on the whims and decisions of a privileged few. This situation reminds me of a powerful quote: "Humans are so strange. We can conquer mountains, explore the depths of the oceans, and even travel to space. Yet, we seem unable to move past the idea that we need political overlords who dictate what we can and cannot do with our own lives." These words, attributed to an unknown source, encapsulate the paradox of human potential and our tendency to surrender our autonomy to those in power. However, it is important to remember that change is possible. History has shown us that societies can evolve, and individuals can rise above oppressive systems. By questioning the status quo and challenging the notion that we are destined to be economic slaves, we can pave the way for a more equitable and empowering future. It is time to break free from the shackles of a system that perpetuates inequality and limits our potential. We must strive for a society where everyone has access to leisure, aesthetic pleasure, and self-actualization, not just the privileged few. Let us harness our collective power and work towards a future where the wealth and opportunities are shared by all. Together, we can create a world where our lives are not dictated by economic servitude, but rather by our own dreams, passions, and aspirations. While we blindly continue to follow others, the world has experienced something it has never really experienced before. A massive paradigm shift is happening, a shift in the way we view, feel, and perceive our world and the current human experience. In this fast-paced and ever-changing world, it is easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle of everyday life. We often find ourselves following the crowd, conforming to societal norms, and accepting things as they are. But deep down, there is a yearning for something more, a desire to break free from the chains of conformity and embrace our true passions and desires. However, the reality is that not everybody is happy. How could they be? When living on a planet where the pursuit of money and material wealth has become the ultimate goal, our passions and heart's desires slowly drift out of sight. We become so consumed with the need to survive and thrive in this competitive world that we lose sight of what truly matters. But there is hope. While we may have remained complacent in the past, accepting the human experience for what it is, a growing number of individuals are awakening to a new way of thinking. They are questioning the status quo, challenging the existing systems, and demanding change. The current economic model, which prioritizes profit over people and the planet, is being called into question. Those who have created this model continue to exploit our planet's resources and disregard the long-term consequences of their actions. But as more and more people become aware of the environmental crisis we face, they are taking a stand and demanding a shift towards sustainability and preservation. At the same time, a wealth of information is being kept from us. The mainstream media, controlled by corporate interests, only presents a limited perspective of the world. But now, with the advent of the internet and social media, alternative sources of information are emerging. People are no longer solely reliant on the mainstream media for news and knowledge. They are seeking out different viewpoints, questioning the narratives presented to them, and forming their own opinions. This shift in information access has empowered individuals to become more informed and engaged citizens. They are no longer passive recipients of information, but active participants in shaping the world around them. This newfound knowledge is a threat to the corporate interests that have long controlled the narrative. It is a force that cannot be ignored or silenced. The paradigm shift we are experiencing is not just a passing trend. It is a fundamental transformation in the way we perceive and interact with the world. It is a wake-up call to embrace our individual power and take responsibility for creating a better future. The rise of alternative media sites has been a game-changer in the realm of information dissemination. These platforms have provided a much-needed voice for those who seek to expose global corporate corruption and shed light on groundbreaking discoveries that are often overlooked by mainstream media. Take, for instance, the field of new energy, which has made tremendous strides in recent years. While the mainstream media may not give it the attention it deserves, alternative media sites have become a hub for sharing these advancements, attracting billions of views each year. Additionally, whistleblowers like Edward Snowden and organizations like WikiLeaks have played a pivotal role in uncovering hidden truths and exposing the dark underbelly of powerful institutions. Their courageous acts of defiance have brought to light the extent of government surveillance and corporate malfeasance, sparking important conversations about the balance between privacy and security. However, this newfound power and influence of alternative media sites did not go unnoticed by the mainstream media. In a somewhat ironic twist, these sites were labeled as fake news by the very institutions that have long held a monopoly on information dissemination. It is perplexing to think that the gatekeepers of truth would dismiss alternative perspectives without giving them a fair chance. To further control the narrative, mainstream media networks appointed so-called fact-checkers to determine what is real and what is not. This move, intended to safeguard the public from misinformation, has instead stifled the free flow of information. A massive campaign to censor any content that does not align with mainstream narratives has been launched, leaving little room for dissenting voices. It is disheartening to realize that the world we are presented with is often a curated version of reality. Caught up in the demands of our daily lives, many people simply do not have the time or energy to question the information they are fed. When confronted with perspectives that challenge the status quo, cognitive dissonance sets in, causing resistance and a reluctance to explore alternative viewpoints. Yet, it is precisely in these alternative viewpoints that we find the seeds of progress and transformation. By embracing a more open-minded approach, we can break free from the limitations imposed by mainstream media. We can tap into the vast array of knowledge and ideas that exist beyond the confines of what we are traditionally exposed to. In a world where information is power, it is crucial that we empower ourselves by seeking out diverse sources and engaging in critical thinking. Let us not be content with the narratives handed to us, but instead strive to uncover the hidden truths that lie just beyond the surface. Only then can we truly understand the complexities of our world and work towards creating a more enlightened and empowered society. It doesn't have to be this way. What's truly frustrating about the current human experience is the realization that it doesn't have to be this way. This sentiment echoes the profound words of Buckminster Fuller, a visionary thinker whose ideas continue to inspire and challenge us. Fuller once stated that 1 in 10,000 of us can make a technological breakthrough capable of supporting all the rest. The youth of today are absolutely right in recognizing this nonsense of earning a wage. These words carry a profound truth that we, at CE, deeply resonate with. We have personally witnessed the existence of technologies that have the potential to revolutionize our planet. These innovations, if guided by a consciousness rooted in compassion and sustainability, hold the power to transform our world. Imagine a future where our entire planet operates in a modern and sustainable way, completely detached from the constraints of the grid. It may seem like a distant dream, but the truth is that there are countless remarkable creations and ideas out there that can pave the way for a utopian society. The simplicity of these solutions often eludes us, as we have been conditioned to believe that the current world economic model and globalization are the only pathways for human progress. However, in reality, they are leading us astray. We have been indoctrinated to believe that we must toil and labor in order to survive and lead a good life. This notion has become deeply ingrained in our collective consciousness, making it nearly impossible for most people to imagine an alternative reality. But let me tell you, my fellow seekers of truth, that there is another way. We have the power to break free from the chains of the status quo and embrace a paradigm shift that aligns with our innate potential. It is time to awaken to the fact that we don't need to be slaves to the system. We don't need to sacrifice our passions, our dreams, and our well-being in pursuit of a paycheck. We are capable of so much more. We have within us the capacity to create a world where work is not a means of survival, but a means of self-expression and fulfillment. A world where our collective efforts are directed towards the greater good, where abundance is shared, and where the pursuit of happiness is not hindered by the shackles of financial constraints. The journey towards this new world begins with a shift in consciousness. It begins with the recognition that we are not just cogs in a machine, but powerful beings capable of shaping our own destiny. It begins with embracing the idea that we are all interconnected, and that our individual actions have ripple effects that extend far beyond ourselves. It begins with questioning the narratives that have been imposed upon us and daring to imagine a different future. In my opinion, the current state of our society is in dire need of a transformation. We live in a world where basic necessities such as food, clothing, and shelter are often tied to the exchange of little pieces of paper and fragments of our soul. It is disheartening to see how our human experience has become so entangled with the concept of money, obscuring the true essence of our development and potential. What we truly need is a shift in consciousness, a collective awakening that embraces a new way of living. We must strive for a society that values and utilizes all of our advancements, rather than concealing them behind the veil of financial gain. It is time for our leaders to step up and prioritize the well-being of humanity and the best interests of our planet, rather than blindly following the orders of their financial masters. Michael Jackson's famous line, "They don't really care about us," resonates deeply in this context. While it may be true that there are those who disregard the needs of the common people, it is important to remember that not everyone falls into this category. There are individuals who genuinely care and are working towards creating a better world for all. As we awaken to the truth that the wool has been pulled over our eyes, we also come to realize that consciousness has a profound impact on our physical material world. The interplay between our thoughts, emotions, and the external reality is still not fully understood, but this realization is an encouraging one. It signifies a shift in humanity's thinking, as we begin to explore and embrace concepts that might have seemed far-fetched or impossible just a decade ago. Imagine a world where our collective consciousness is directed towards love, compassion, and unity. A world where the pursuit of material wealth takes a back seat to the well-being of every individual and the preservation of our planet. It is within our power to create such a reality, to break free from the chains of a system that no longer serves us. Let us envision a future where our basic needs are met without the burden of financial transactions. A future where the exchange of goods and services is driven by a genuine desire to uplift one another, rather than by the pursuit of profit. In this new paradigm, the true value of human connection and cooperation will shine through. It is time for us to come together, to inspire and support one another on this journey towards a more enlightened society. Let us be the catalysts of change, the voices that speak up for what truly matters. As we expand our consciousness and embrace the power within us, we can shape a world that is abundant in love, harmony, and fulfillment. So let us embark on this transformative path, knowing that the potential for a brighter future lies within each and every one of us. Let us break free from the chains of a limited mindset and embrace a new way of being. Together, we can create a world where little pieces of paper no longer define our worth, but rather, the depth of our souls and the impact we make on the lives of others. I won't go into any specific examples, but let's take a moment to ponder the concept of a utopian society. Imagine a world where all our needs are easily provided for, where scarcity doesn't exist, and where supply and demand are no longer factors. These ideas may seem far-fetched, but they are not impossible to achieve. The notion of scarcity and the principles of supply and demand were all creations of what is known today as the 1%. These concepts were designed to benefit the wealthy elite, not the majority of people. It's time for a change, a complete shutdown and transformation of our current economic model. As the visionary Buckminster Fuller once said, "You never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete." These words hold true in our quest for a better society. So, what would this new model look like? How can we create a system that truly benefits everyone? It starts with a shift in mindset. We need to move away from the idea that resources are scarce and that we must compete for them. Instead, we must embrace the idea that there is an abundance of resources available to us if we learn to manage and distribute them wisely. In this new society, collaboration and cooperation would be the guiding principles. Instead of hoarding wealth and resources, individuals would be encouraged to share and contribute to the common good. This would require a fundamental change in our values and priorities. Instead of measuring success solely by monetary wealth, we would measure it by the well-being and happiness of all members of society. Education would play a crucial role in this new model. We would prioritize teaching empathy, compassion, and cooperation from a young age. We would foster a sense of community and interconnectedness, where the success of one is celebrated as the success of all. Technology would also play a vital role in this new society. We would harness the power of innovation to create sustainable solutions and to automate mundane tasks, freeing up time for individuals to pursue their passions and contribute to the betterment of society. Of course, this transition would not be easy. It would require a collective effort and a willingness to let go of old ways of thinking. But the rewards would be immense. Imagine a world where everyone has access to quality healthcare, education, and basic necessities. A world where creativity and innovation thrive, and where the pursuit of happiness is not hindered by financial constraints. The path to a utopian society may be long and challenging, but it is not impossible. It starts with envisioning a new model, one that prioritizes the well-being of all and challenges the existing reality. It starts with each one of us taking a stand and demanding change. Together, we can build a future where scarcity is a thing of the past, and where the needs of all are easily provided for. Just imagine if human beings created an experience where all of our needs were provided for. As mentioned above, we have more than enough potential to do so. What would we do with our time? It's simple, we would explore, contemplate, and discover. After all, that's our natural state from birth, until we are told how the world works and what we are to do in it. We've been brainwashed for so long and taken out of our natural state that it's really time to create a human experience that resonates with all of us, and what we and all life are meant to do, and that's thrive.